Hey everybody! It is like 2 o'clock, 1:40, whatever, on the 21st. Hey, how's everyone doing out there in YouTube land or whatever day it is for you? Because obviously you can see this whenever or whatever you want to see it. So, yeah. Woo. Um, just checking in on everybody. Hopefully everyone's having a good whatever today is for you since the last time you've seen me or heard me or whatever. Yeah, some exciting stuff. Got a job interview for later today. So that'll hopefully go well. But that's just for side stuff because this is what I'm focused on. This is my gig. Hopefully the people are paying attention. I don't know. Doesn't seem to be too many right this second, but hey, it can always turn around. Life can be different. And tomorrow's gonna be a different day than the day anyway. Kind of the same, but different at the same time. Weird. Anyway, um, I think I found a secret, my friends. And it's not really a secret. So I kind of had this thought for like a while. And it kind of boils down to just okay. So you know me. Some of you might know me. Some of you don't know me. And hopefully you'll know me by now. But that I am like a media hog. Like I will ingest more or less any kind of television, video, book, magazine, podcast. It doesn't really matter. If you give it to me and say, hey, I think this is good, I will probably go, oh, I'll give it a try and, read it, watch it, whatever. So I have a very wide and eclectic range of things that I really, really enjoy. And to that extent, I love soap operas. I love dramas. I love comedies. I love everything. And in doing so, I have noticed over the years of watching everything that I understand it because I really like the storytelling aspect of pretty much anything. That's why I like watching all those different kinds of things because they're all just stories and they're telling stories in different manners. But there's a similarity, there's a vein that runs through almost all these stories, and it's and authors use it in order to control plot points and to actually have a story, and that is they only give out so much information to certain characters at certain times and what have you. So you look at things the main characters will only know so, and that could be with okay, you take Game of Thrones or my favorite Wheel of Time, Sons of Anarchy. There's things that certain people know, Ozarks, that people Ozark or whatever it is, that people know, and if they would just share with the group, that they would easily oh, well, I have an answer for you for that, or oh, well, there's a solution to that problem that you're presenting, and I think it's just this great untapped because we know it. People I hear on this, I've been listening to this podcast called The Legendarium. Shout out to the dudes at The Legendarium. And they talk about because they are breaking down different fantasy and sci-fi genres or books, series and stuff. And they talk about I've been listening to the Wheel of Time discussion. And they talk about how Robert Jordan and then later Brandon Sanderson use every once in a while it comes up, they'll be if they would just all talk together, and everyone's saying yeah, but then there wouldn't be a story, and that's kind of the point. The reason why the authors and producers, directors, whatever happens to you, has those things set up like that is because if everyone did have all the information, then there wouldn't be a story, or the story would be way shorter, or it would be drastically different. We wouldn't have certain things. We wouldn't have certain kinds of comedy. We wouldn't have certain kinds of suspense thrillers, dramas, and stuff like that. If everyone had literally, that's kind of the point on certain things is to there's a crazy dog in there. That's kind of the point. They slowly meter out this information to you in order to make a story happen. And that's kind of the problem And I feel like if we could get people on board with not doing that in real life, that like we could solve a lot of issues, because we know from these things that like that causes the problem. Like you look at Ozark, like I said, or Sons of Anarchy, or Gossip Girl, or I liked Gossip Girl. Hold it against me or not. Oh, Blake Lively. Anyway, like all it's General Hospital. Like everything revolves around someone not knowing, and then we watch it. We're like, "Who are they going? When are they going to find out? When are they going to find out?" But if we don't do that in like our real lives, then we wouldn't have as many. I don't think we would have as many problems. Like we run into these situations where this person doesn't know. I was just listening to again, media hog, Steve Rinnella's podcast, and they were talking about how like the DoD wasn't releasing enough or information fast enough to like get things on the records, so people could like for gun registrations and stuff like that. For like criminal background checks, like the DoD had all this information that was sitting in computers somewhere that wasn't like in NICS, the system that the feds use. Like it's, if everyone would just talk, like that's kind of our thing. Not to say that you shouldn't have private information. Like hey, your brain is your brain, and what you think, and like you never have to share any info. Again, you should know by now out of the other videos that I've said that I'm not going to tell you have to do any one thing or another. But if we could get like a majority of people to kind of like, okay, like, hey, I'm completely open and honest, and this radical honesty where it's like white lies aren't good, and I believe I've gone over that. If I haven't, tell me, and I'll talk about it. But even white lies, like the smallest thing, it's a net negative. Like it's never going to give you like that mistruth is bad. And then you have like things like not telling the whole truth, which I'm not going to say that's a lie, but like I just said, if we could get everyone to like be like, tell the whole truth, the whole truth, no, nothing but the truth, the whole shtick, like in general, I feel like we could get along just like a little bit better. It would just be a little bit easier, a little bit nicer, because if you know everything, then you know it, like you know where you stand with somebody, you should know how they feel. Like that knowledge is super important. She's so upset because it's we moved to the desert and it's raining. Something about monsoons or something. But yeah, like I just want people to kind of look through your media, look through what you like watching, and be like, hey, think about it. Could they have solved this problem by just telling somebody something or including this information? And I bet you'll find out you're right. Probably could have solved it with that if everyone would just give out as much information as they safely. Again, I don't like to use the word safe. Nothing's safe, but intelligently hand out that information. I feel like we could be a lot better off, and people would be a lot nicer to one another, and they would be a little bit more forgiving, possibly. That was just my thought today. All right, everybody. I want you to remember that you got here somehow, that your genes, that your evolution as a person started whenever you want to believe. That's on you. And that you somehow have gotten to this point in time. You've survived this long. You've made it this far. And that if you can make it this far, you can keep on making it. And that let's keep pushing forward. Let's try to be better people. I will talk to you all later then. I hope you have a good day, week, month, year, whatever you got. Until the next time you're going to listen to me. I'll talk to you later. Peace out, guys.